And this time we might see even a little bit more spice in the mid and late game, with Giant Snails and Creditor both being the spells after wave 10 I think everybody will decide for. Because Allowance is just an average spell, and I know at least that, for example, Adamas and Xarku, they really don't like Allowance, so they probably all will choose either for the Giant Snails or for the Creditor.
Ithian's finished picking his role, and it's one that I really like. So he's got the Bounty Hunter, which is, okay, it's a scaling unit. It's not very strong by itself, but he has the perfect units to protect it. So he's got that Infiltrator to hold it on 6. He's got the Pee-wee/Veteran to hold it on 7, which are the two biggest weaknesses of Bounty Hunter. And then assuming you actually get it to a KP for 9, he's got a really strong build.
Yeah, the thing only with Bounty Hunter is I felt it in my last Legion in-house league game. I totally dislike playing it because of a few reasons. At the very first, you are pushing very slow because you're limited to the amount of workers you are able to push because it's so weak in the early game. Second, you're so easy to punish. As soon as you're leaking quite often, it's super hard for you to get back because you already lost a lot of stacks, which means even if you upgrade your bounty to a Kingpin, there's no way you will be strong in the mid game because you already lost that much. So it's such a weak unit, and it's only perfect if you're making everything right and the enemies are either not able to send huge or you're just able to hold everything because you're having the perfect setup.
Yeah, definitely. He's even going for the second angler, and I don't like this. Whenever I play Bounty Hunter in my roles recently, I only take one.
Yes, I think that is one of the things I should adapt as well. I mean, it is already such a weak unit, and then putting another 40 gold into an angler, which is even worse than the Bounty Hunter, usually makes a huge difference. I mean, 40 gold is pretty much a worker.
And look at this, we see the 40 King Ups coming out from both Ithian and Havi. I think they're not having the Gambit go against them this game. I think they're going to start saving already.
Yes, I think they're either now going for the save, or, which is in my eyes a totally underrated strategy, is King power is scaling over the game. So the longer the game goes, the better is your King spells as an investment. Which means if you're bringing the game up into a mid-game, late-game match, and you're having a full King, this is way more worth than only the 100% of King HP the others might have as well, because then every little bit of Mythium you're saving is pure pressure, and the others might have to up some King to not die in some ways.
Yeah, and you can see that Adams and Widdowson have pushed off of those sends, which is great for them, but they still need to win the game.
Yeah, but maybe it might be a nice undercut on Widdowson. I mean, he's on his key unit once again.
Yeah, this isn't fair. Widdowson should be banned from Priestess.
Absolutely. And on the other hand side, we're having Ithian it is, with the Infiltrator and the Bounty Hunter. This is more like the best start you can have for wave 3 and 4. You will only have to look for something wave 6 and 7. Because either you can go for the Orchid obviously, but then you're just dead meat on wave 7. And there's some other units you can have, but they're all not perfect with Bounty Hunter and Angler.
And they both get the push here, but deciding to stay on 5 workers for Ithian, which is surprising because he just got a 60%. Now.
He just pushed it. I think he just needed to think about it again.
And when do you think they send? Because I'm pretty sure they're going for the long save.
Yeah, actually,
I wouldn't be surprised to see a 7 again.
Actually, I thought there might be at first I thought there might be the Brood coming against Widdowson now in wave 4. Even after income to just break him. But as it looks now, there's no chance you can make a Damas League from the units you see now and from the units you have to respect he might have, for example a Butcher or just some smaller tanks that will help him to go through wave 5 and 6. So I think if they want to...
I think Haviland and Ithian have learned their lesson from last game. They're not going to income send on wave 4 and give the game away again. I think they're going to go straight for their Gambit 7 and go long.
Yeah, I think the thing is the following. They kind of can't go 7 because Ithian is so weak on 6. So this is kind of... They just limited themselves to a strategy they have to go for because they will be dead on 6 themselves, and Xarku's not looking any better on 6.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So they kind of have to send on 6, where we see there's already the Violet on Adamas, which is a pure monster on wave 6. We see Widdowson already showing the gate guard to show his power on wave 6 as well. I mean, there's always the situation where you can snipe the gate guard before summoning another unit, and it's basically dead value then. But if he's able to get the Harbinger or just more protection on the gate guard, they will both be able to hold there, and with the resends coming against Xarku and Widows, against Haviland Tuff and Ithian, there's no chance they can hold themselves.
And we do see the sends are coming out, so are Haviland and Ithian going to send? They are. And I like the Drake. The Drake is a good send.
Yes, I think
Probably
it's good.
the best thing he can send against that Violet.
Yes, and I think it's good that he's taking the income with it. I think in his case, you have to get the best early game as possible, because your mid game is usually the best of everybody anyway, if you're not falling any behind.
Look at Adam's value. He's so solid here.
Yeah,
with
he
that
just
Violet
stayed
as
on
well.
5 workers playing really passive, and that's one of the things I saw already last game. I just rewatched the cast from Adamas because I was cutting it the last days. And it is so interesting. Adamas played super passive. Sometimes I was like, okay, why is he not pushing another worker? But it always paid off for them. He always was 1 worker short, as I would usually push, but then he was holding a huge send, and he was just full pushing afterwards. And
yeah, that's it. That's his decision making that I was talking about earlier.
it
He's
was
just
very
very,
amazing.
very smart at this game.
Yeah, but
And
did
look,
you
we
see?
were talking about Ithian being weak, but he got this Orchid, which is the perfect wave 6 unit.
Yeah, but it doesn't help. It's not enough. And did you see Widdowson just at the beginning of the wave? His Asaria again dropped to, I would say, 40 HP and still surviving.
And then started healing. Yeah, I saw
It
it.
was beautiful once again.
His perfect positioning coming into play again.
Yeah, but this time it's like almost an equal send, and this is surprising because I actually thought that Adamas might be able to hold here.
Yeah, so Ithian and Heavy should get the best of this trade because they got a
Yes.
couple of king ups, and a full HP Drake went to the king against Adams and Widdowson.
And they
So
have a
yeah,
better
you see
mid-game.
it's about 8% more damage on their king.
Totally agree, and they have the
Pretty
better mid-game.
close. Damn close.
Absolutely.
Look, identical workers on the two teams.
Yeah.
Very close king HP.
The only thing is that Ithian is super weak now, so I would love to see the Brood resend, but I kind of feel that both teams are again in the decision to shut this down with team sending, so they will always send on the same wave to maximize their king damage output.
Yeah, and when do you send next then in that case? Because maybe wave 8 could be a
Yes,
good
absolutely.
play.
I would have said 8 as well. It is kind of easy to get the Nikomata on 8 actually. With a Cannoneer, you might be able to snipe it really fast. And Ithian is not having too much of a protection for 8 as well.
And Haviland even borrowed his rat on this wave, so you see,
Yes.
if they did go for the resend, which would have been a ballsy play, it
I
probably
would
would
have
have
loved
worked.
the recent so much. And I'm still a little bit shocked that Adamas was leaking so hard last wave. I mean, he had a Nightmare, he had a Violet, and he had a Mudman. Like,
The Drake just the perfect send against
yeah,
that, though, to
but
try and
still, the
burn down
Nightmare
that
should be
DPS
able
as
to
fast
tank
as
so
possible.
much. But one thing he could have really done is to harden the Mudman, because he should have known that there's no chance Ithian and Xarku are going for wave 7, because they can't. So I think I would have just hardened the Mudman to be a little
Yeah,
bit
that
more
would. I think that
powerful.
would definitely have been the right play, actually, the hard Mudman, because then his Violet lives a bit longer, gets off another spell, and he either holds in that case or
Yeah.
just only leaks the Drake.
And as we already predicted, the Sens are coming out, and I want to see now Ithian and Xarku, how are they doing on this weight? I kind of dislike the Lizards against Haviland Tuff. It's just sometimes
It's
they're
just a pure
splitting,
income send, I think. I think
Yeah,
they think they win late,
but it
so they just
looked
income,
like
survive early.
he did Lizard
scale.
and triple snail, so there was a Cannoneer he could have done as well.
True.
I think that might have maximized the damage, because sometimes it did not happen now, so the Lizards are perfect in that scenario. But usually it happens that the Lizards are splitting their attacks, for example, one going on the cat, the other one going on the butcher, and in this scenario you just liking the Cannoneer a little bit more than a Lizard.
And we see the Priestess King holding again.
Dude,
So identical small leaks coming out on both sides, and both sides' teammate able to hold the leak.
if there's sometime a possibility that we have pick and bans with rolls, I will always ban Asaria against Widdison.
Yeah, damn right. And Angler against the Dams.
Yeah, absolutely. But he did not have the anglers in any of those two games. I'm not 100% sure anymore if both had their key units, but I just know that last game in the Legion In-House League, Widdison played a Priestess twice as well, and Adamus played Angler at least once. I'm not sure anymore if it was twice or once only.
That's how you know that you're high skill, when you always get your favourite unit in the role.
Yeah, even playing a unit that is super bad in the early game. But this is exactly what we saw already before. Adamus staying one worker behind, holding those medium sends, and then he's just pushing afterwards in the late early game or mid game.
And the wave 10 send looks really good here, because Adams, I think, doesn't afford the doppelganger, and everything else he has is really weak on wave 10.
Yes, but everybody is sending on wave 10, it looks like.
Yeah, they should. I think it's the right play.
So we're having Ithian, if I see it right, he will have one bounty hunter with 101 stacks. So he's probably trying to upgrade that one.
I think he should upgrade the one at the back, regardless of how many stacks it has,
But
just so that it can...
He already put down
not
an antler
tank
for
full aggro.
protection.
I see, yeah, okay.
So I think it is possible for the...
It's worth it for
The
the
one
extra
in
10
front.
stacks, yeah.
Yes, and then maybe just boosting some in case there's a tank or an ogre coming. He might be able...
Well, you actually want your orchids to be up in front, because then they have a chance to tank the boss before
Yeah.
the kingpin does.
And very interesting decision from Xarku to go for the Firelord here, because this Firelord is not gonna tank for the cats, and it's probably not gonna tank for any unit besides the Proton on the side.
It's tanking something.
No, it's not tanking.
I think it tanked the dragon turtle, because it lost a little bit of
Oh
mana.
yeah, true. But who cares
Maybe
about
it would
the
have
Dragon
tanked the
Turtle?
boss if there was no tank send. So if it was only brutes, it might have tanked the boss.
It is not taking a brood, so that's pretty good. But still, everything
Ithian's
else is
clearing
dying.
the boss though.
Yeah, but Ithian is just super powerful right there. But there's no clears on both Adamus and on Widdison.
Oh, this is really strong for them. This is really,
Yeah.
really good.
They
So
just had
both
no
sides are going to get a
setups.
bit of king damage, but Ithian and Haviland are going to get the better of this trade as well,
Yeah.
just like they did on wave 6.
But again, because they have a little bit more king attacks as well. But now there's the time. There's the mid game coming, and there's Giant Snail and Creditor. So who do you think is going to decide for the Giant Snails? Who is going to decide for the Creditor?
I think Creditor is pretty appealing here because everyone just sent on 10, so there's not much pressure now, right? Especially when you have Orchid and Kingpin. So I'd like to see Ithian take the greedy play and go Creditor, but as I say that, he's
Yeah.
already taken the snail.
Oh wow. So I would have predicted that Ithian is going for the Creditor, and both Widdison and Xarku are looking really bad on wave 12. So I might have expected that they will get sends on 12 and the other two might just save or go king up or anything like this. So I'm really interested because saving here for Widdison is kind of risky because of his situation on 12. Whereas I could understand Adamus to go for the Creditor, same as Ithian. But Xarku is just not looking good.
So
on
Adams
11
took the
and
vanilla
12.
spell, he went for the allowance. He
Wow.
is shifting gold here. No, he's not. Sorry, he just dropped another
Wow,
another
but
steed at the end there.
allowance? That's really not what I would have expected. He was
He's
really
probably
afraid.
scared of a reset
Yeah.
with those two nightmares.
But look at... Oh, shit. Xarku and Ithian will go for the all-in on 12. They pushed hard. Look at... They pushed super hard. They're going for the snails.
Yeah, I see
That
it.
will be
I
the
see it.
all-in on 12. And I can see the decision made because Widdison is super weak there. He's just shifted 200 gold. He's leaking to a no-send.
Here come the Sens, Pack Leader and Snails.
I actually think you have to go for the Income King. This-
Oh no, if Widdison pro leaks here as well, this is really bad
Yeah.
for them. Really
He might
bad.
have just... Oh, he
I think
did even...
their best
put
play
it
is to
in.
send as well, like the
Yeah.
income send, or
Get
maybe
the
even
income,
full send.
and then the rest for king maybe. Well, they don't know that they push that hard. That is the thing. So usually, if you have no information, I would just send now and go for the rest king because you're so far behind on king HP. But if you see the values of Ithian and Xarku, you would full send here. But
It looks
it's
like they are full sending.
Yeah.
You should have a pretty good idea of their values because they didn't add anything from wave 10 to wave 11. So
Yeah.
either they're bluffing creditor, or they full pushed.
yeah,
So I think they've done the right play here by sending themselves. But look at Widdowson's value. Okay, he needs to not greed this creditor. He needs to full spend.
Yeah, but it is all about Ithian now. He has the strongest hold potential on this wave, 2 kingpins with butcher buff. On the other hand side, we're having a lot of value on both Adamas and Widdowson, both close to the 2k. It is a really exciting one. The closest.
But no
game.
giant snails for them either, so the send is worth more coming from Haviland and Ithian.
Absolutely. But the doppelganger from Adamas still being perfectly involved into the fight. It's now going down slowly, and Widdowson is not
he
having
got
a
really
clear.
good positioning with
But
that. Really good aggro.
Xarku's leaking quite a lot, and Ithian's just holding it all. Oh,
Oh wow!
is
So
LD.
Adams holds as well, but he doesn't hold enough.
look at
So,
this. Look at
although
this pack
Widdowson's
leader. It's
creeps are
so
low,
close to die.
It dies in one hit, but nothing's focusing it.
What is the king spell? We have lightning hammer. It's super close. That might be over, but it doesn't have to
With
be.
the pack leader dying so fast, I think it's okay. And Widdowson, he leaked quite a few creeps, but they were all super low HP, and
Yeah,
that saves them here.
But now there's 2 problems Adamas and Widdowson are having. First, they're behind in worker because they just pushed so hard, and Xavi and Tough and Xarku, they got away with it. And the second is they're playing against giant snails.
Yeah, so they've got 2 big advantages, one in the worker count and 2, like you say, with the snails. So every snail they send is worth, what do you think, 50 Mythium instead of 20?
Oh no, that's way too much. I would say it's like 30 to 35. Which is already more than enough because it's more than 50% stronger.
It's more than double the HP, right, of a normal snail.
Yeah, but they got nerfed a little bit, and they're not, like, there are tanks in front and there's a lot of small tanks, so you can't really count in the damage they do.
Yeah, and they're pretty weak against AoE builds because
Yes.
if you have something like the giant boars, for example, they just obliterate them all in one hit
Exactly.
anyway. But perfect against what Adams has, because that
Yes.
doppelganger is going to waste so much time
Absolutely.
chewing through
Yeah,
snails.
same against Widdowson. They're both having full AoE, more or less. And now this will be really interesting because Adamas is looking kind of good on wave 14, and we're having Widdowson. He's not looking that good on 14, but he's having the
I think
value
they send
with the
15.
creditor.
I'm pretty sure they send 15,
Yeah,
even
but-
with the priestess.
Ithian and Havin and Tuff will be a little bit more down in the value, and Widdowson will be the most up in value, I think, with
They've got really good units for
The
14,
creditor.
though. I don't think they're under any pressure to send here. I think,
Yeah,
I think
but
it looks
the
like
thing
they're
is on
saving for
15.
15.
I would favor Adamas and Widdowson on 15. Absolutely. Look at Adamas' roll. This
think?
is amazing. Dude, he's
I mean,
having...
sure, he's got the steeds and he's got the Hades, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He can
There's
harden the
Phoenix
mutts.
over here. There's Azaria over here.
Yeah, but the
There's Orchids over
Asaria's...
here. I
the
think these
Asaria's
guys
not
are
gonna
really strong on
tank.
15.
So you have... Ithian's Asaria's not gonna tank, so it's basically trash in that situation, and I would highly favor the Orchids in his situation.
He can make it tank. So if he has a higher split, which he does, and then he boosts some of the peewees so that it pulls the wave down, he can make it tank the wave.
I'm really interested in that if that is going
Oh,
to
and
happen.
Adams has hardened his golem here, so I think the 15 send,
That is
if that's
awful.
what they go for, is going to be even better.
That was his kind of winning condition, to have even better tanks in front. But this is really close now. Adama's a little bit down in value. Xarku absolutely far behind in the value, but I think he shifted a little bit of gold as well. Oh no, I
Here
was
come
looking
the
at the
sends.
I was looking at
Four
the
Eyes and Snail, Shaman and Snail.
Oh, the
These are
four
some
eye.
big sends coming out.
Really interesting.
2 Shamans coming out from Adams and Widdowson as well. So I think this will be a race.
This will absolutely be a race, but I wonder a little bit about the 4-eye. Why did he decide for a 4-eye instead of a like shaman or anything else? Because the 4-eye is likely to hit either the Asaria or the Aqua PV side there. So after the banana bank is done, which will happen within a few seconds, there's not a lot of targets the 4A is like good against.
I wouldn't have minded seeing something like a siege ram, honestly.
Yeah, siege ram is actually probably the best. It might not be perfect with the snails on top. So I think
Okay,
maybe
sent a cannoneer with it, which is good, I think.
yeah, absolutely. He needed some sorts of non-magic damage as well to counter the Assyria.
Just look at the difference in the size of the sends, though. 480, 500 on this side versus
Yeah.
420 and 360 on
And
this
they're
side.
even more worth because of the snails.
Yeah, yeah.
But Adamas, he's looking decent so far, but it does not really look like a hold, even though he's having the haters.
I think he probably leaks the boss and a shaman.
Yes, but on the other hand side, we have Ithian and Havilentaf leaking faster, and this is probably the winning race. The
Well,
haters just...
Xeria gets his spell off, though.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was so...
But this might be close. Is it enough to kill them? And on the other hand side, the race is starting again. This is so close.
I'm pretty sure this is a race. I think both sides
It
would
is, it
win,
is.
but I think
oh my
Haviland
God.
and Ithian just get this one because that one boss
Yeah,
dies
I
in
think
a
they're
single
just a
hit.
little bit better because of the 9 HP they were. Oh my god. They were defeated.
What a game!
Well, that was really close in the end. Wow. I think if Adamas did not harden the golem on wave 14,
yeah, you might be right. You might be right because it just
they might
stalled
have
for long
won
enough.
this.
Then
Like this is another 1k or 2k HP they have to get through on their hand side, and with 3 more seconds, I would say Ithin and Havilentaf were dead.
I think you might be right. Yeah,
Oh
I think
shit!
the play there to harden his Mudman on 14, understandable,
no.
but it may have cost him the game.